This is part of a series of short videos designed to help you understand open access. Making your research publications open access is becoming a mandatory part of a researcher's life, either because your funder or your institution requires it. If you want your research outputs to be eligible for the next REF, then you need to make them open access. This video looks at the main options for making your publications open access. We will concentrate on journal articles, but the policies also apply to conference proceedings. In the future, you may also be expected to make monographs open access. The traditional model of academic publishing is that researchers submit articles to journal publishers. If an article is accepted, the journal then owns the rights to that article and controls who can see it. Usually people can read the articles if they pay for a personal subscription to the journal, or their academic library pays for a subscription. For example, the David Wilson Library spends approximately £2.5 million a year on journal subscriptions, so that our researchers and students can access journal articles. How are the open access models different from this traditional model of publishing? The Gold model assumes you are submitting your article to a traditional journal. However, when your paper is accepted, the journal charges an open access fee that means your article would then be available for anyone to read, regardless of whether they had a subscription to the journal. If your funder requires you to make your work open access, then they usually provide your institution with a fund to cover the cost of these charges. At the University of Leicester, this fund is administered by the Library Research Services team. The Green model assumes you are submitting your article to a traditional journal, however, you are not paying an open access fee. Instead, you deposit a copy of your final author manuscript in the Leicester Research Archive. The LRA team then check the journal's open access policy and make your article freely available when the journal allows it, for example 6 months or 12 months after publication. The Platinum model is where you submit your article to a fully open access journal that has no article fees. These types of open access journals tend to be specialist journals run by researchers and academics. Your article would be freely available to anyone, as the journal would not have a subscription fee. Which journals you submit to and publish in is still your choice. Your funder may require you to use a certain type of open access publishing route. Check their guidance for details, and if in doubt, contact the Library Research Services team. If you decide to publish in a traditional journal that charges a subscription fee, then you'll need to go down the Gold or Green route. The Gold route is where you would pay an open access or article processing fee to the journal. The Green route is where you would deposit your final author manuscript in the Leicester Research Archive. If you decide to publish in an open access journal, then you can go down the Gold or Platinum route. Some big open access journals charge an open access or article processing charge to cover the costs of running the journal and making it freely available. Other open access journals don't charge any fees, but they tend to be specialist journals, so there may not be a suitable Platinum journal in your subject area. If your research is funded or part funded by one of the UK research councils or by certain charities, in which case you would be eligible to apply to the Open Access Fund to cover the costs involved in the Gold route. You can apply to the fund via the University Open Access web pages at www.le.ac.uk/open access. If you don't know what open access publishing route to choose, whether you are eligible to apply to the Open Access Fund, or would like further help with any open access issue, then you can contact us directly in the library.